There's a lot to say about this set of PIPs pairings that were inked up for July. I just got a little bit things to say. Hey there, it's Grace. Welcome back. Welcome if you are new. Thank you for being here. Today's ink report for the month of July is a tad bit different, and that's because for the most part I didn't choose these pen and ink pairings. The universe, in all her wisdom for what she thought I should write with, did the choosing. Now, if you're new here, don't worry, this is not a woo-woo channel. Although, truth be told, I'm fine dabbling in the woo-woo, just so you know. What you may not know, though, is that July was a carry-on month in that all the pens that were still inked up for 30 days, 30 inks in June, all the swatching I did back then were the only pens I used in July for currently inked. Now, one of the things I did for the 30 inks was I randomly chose a pen and paired it with a randomly chosen ink. And after 55 days of using these pens, one of them was chosen on day 6, and you'll understand in a minute when I get to that pairing why it lasted so long. So I've got some serious insights into these pairings that is making me rethink how I choose the pips for each month. Let's get to it. I just gotta say, there was not a pen and ink combination remaining of the 12 that I did not enjoy writing with. I think that's kind of cool. At the start of July, with kind of all the pens as carryovers for the month, I knew one thing and I had one rule. The first thing is I knew I wouldn't be inking up any pens in July, obviously, because I'm carrying over 12 of them, duh. And the rule was, the one rule I had for currently inked this month, or last month, really, because by the time this goes up, it'll be August. I knew I wouldn't re-ink any of the pens. Once the pen ran out of ink, that was it. No re-inking, because again, I had 12 of them to use. And little known fact, as of this recording, 3 of them are still inked. I think that's pretty good. The majority of the pens are all clean, and I'll show you which ones that are inked. I have a little dot next to them. The majority of the pens are all clean, and because they're all clean, what I'll have to do is dip the pen in the ink to write for the pips sheets, because I'm going to write them. I usually just pull them in because I write before. I'm actually going to write them in as I work. Duh, couldn't get the words out. I will dip the ink right on the pip sheet and then use the score. So let's get to, this is currently inked. These are the inks, the 12 pens and inks that I use for the month of July. And obviously here I'm going to write my ink, my score, my rating. My score is from 1 to 10. 10 obviously being top of the line. Oh my god. 1 being, I don't know that I've ever given out a 1 score. I think I've given out 4, but I've not given out a 1, because you have to be really bad, both pen and ink, for me to give a 1. I might as well give you a 0. Anyway, before, what did I want to say? I wanted to say one more thing. Oh, if you are new to my channel, one of the things I do is I give a scoring on just the combination, the pen and ink pairing only. Did this pen and this ink work well together? That is the score that I'll be putting here. I think I like to score it like that because I think it helps me figure out the inks and which nibs pair best with that ink. Before I pair a pen now, because I have all this information in these pip sheets. Now when I pair a pen for currently inked, I actually go and pull out the sheet for the pen and see how did this ink fare or these couple of inks fare with this single pen. And it just helps me. It's not an exact science, but I do take into consideration the notes I've written, and I love the fact that I now keep these notes. I absolutely love it. All right, let's get these. I pulled them all out before. I only had to make 2 of them, 2 new sheets. And we will get to, let's see what I want to do. I'm going to put these over here and pull them over as needed, I think. Yeah, because I want to see everything. I want to see everything. As you can see, what did I do? I didn't put a dot there. I put a dot when a pen ran out of its ink, and unfortunately, that's one of the ones where I'll get to that in a minute. I put a dot next to the ones that all ran out of ink, and then I put a circle next to the ones. I don't know if you can see these small little tiny circles. I put a circle next to the ones right before I sat down to remind me this ink is still in this pen. Use it. Don't dip it, but it doesn't matter. First one up is my new Sailor Tuzu. I love this pen. Oh my gosh, this is such a cool pen. What can I say about this pen? What can I say? Let me write. The pen was the last pen that was inked for 30 inks. I love this pairing so much that it was actually my top PIPS pairing, pen and ink pairing for 30 inks. And you'll see that, I'll put a link here so you can see the wrap up I did where I shared the top ink, where I shared the top pen, and then I shared the top pairing for 30 inks. Considering this was a new pen, I mean, literally, I think I bought it within the last few days of 30 inks. It was just wonderful. This one is the one that has the ink. I should tell you the ink. The ink is Pilot Iroshizuku Ku-Jaku. I love this. I like this ink. I love this ink. Let me just say, I love this ink. As you can see, it is now empty. There is no more to be had. That's even dried around there. There's no more to be had. I will be inking this up. You know what? I think I have ink in here already, so I won't use this one. I was trying to match the ink so that on the sheet it looks the same. Anyway, let me do the writing on this. So when I fill it out, when I fill out a sheet, I fill out with the name, where I got it, the date I purchased it, and then the month. So this is the pairing notes that I keep for each pen. The ink is only on here because it's what's in the pen, and I can see what inks I use with the pens. So I have a space for the month, and this was July. And the ink that's in here right now is Colorverse Doctor. I love that. I love that. So cool. And then a space to do a little swatch. That's not bad comparison. I mean, really, that's not bad. That's not bad. The ink is... Oh my goodness, I'm putting the wrong ink in there. I need to change that. Oh my gosh. I will change that in a minute. Let me go. That's so weird that I did that. I'm gonna just write on what the idea of this, what my notes on the pairings. That's what geez, get your words together, girl. Whew. Pairing notes for this first one I wrote. Pen and ink wrote beautifully and consistently. No issues with the flow. It felt like this was the most perfect pairing. Definitely deserves the rating it got. So what is the rating I'm going to give this one? I am going to give this one, let me get the thing I do it with. 1 second. The rating for this one is a 10. a 10, I tell you, a 10. Really good. And as you can see, I don't know if maybe it's this pen, but Colorverse Doctor is in here and it still wrote beautifully. I think it's this pen. Sailor, she's freaking knocking it out of the park, man. What? Alrighty, that's the first one. And the second one is MAJOHN Wancai Mini in clear. If you've watched any of my 30 inks, you'll know that this particular one, which was day 18, I didn't use this one. I got 2 pens. I got the blue one and this one. I never used this, and I thought, you know what? Let me use this. Let me use it. So I started using it. And I absolutely love this combination. The combination was the Wancai Mini and the DIAMINE Cashmere Rose. This is the one that came in the Inkvent 2023. I don't think there's any, this is standard, right? Yeah, there's nothing in there. I was worried that this nib would be, it's a fine nib, and I was worried that this nib would be too fine for the ink. It would, because this is a fairly light color. It's a muted, I should say, not a light color. It's a muted color, and I was worried that this nib wouldn't, I was worried that I wouldn't enjoy this pairing, because I've always enjoyed the ink, always enjoyed the pen. Would the pairing be a good thing? Let me do the thing. Hopefully I don't have to dip too much. Oh, this is the blue. I should do the clear. I'm gonna put this here because they're both the same. Yeah, I probably should change the sheet, but I'm not going to. I know I'll have to do a little bit extra dipping all the time. See what I mean about this light ink? It's very, very light. Alrighty, this is, I put this as the clear pen. Alrighty, one more dip and hopefully it'll go straight through to the end. For this pairing I wrote, no issues with this pip. Very good pairing. Enjoyed the writing experience. Smooth flow, great consistency. This ink likes this nib. Okay. And all I'm going to do is, like I said before, I'm going to clean these nibs later because it's only dipping. And I do have water side here, but I definitely want to be sure that I rinse them fairly well later. Alrighty, so that is the thing about the sheets, and I have one that has a whole lot more on it, I think. But as you can see, you get to see the ink and how it writes and the color with the one pen. That's why I love these sheets so much. What am I going to give this? This was a good pairing. It wasn't the best, like top of the line pairing. This was a solid 8. This was definitely just a solid 8. I love the pairing. I just love it. It wrote well. The next pen and ink combination is my JINHAO 100 Classic. This is the blue celluloid pen. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. Look at that chatoyance. Look at that. Beautiful stuff. This was inked up with Robert Oster Blue C. Robert Oster Blue C. And I have just enough in there to, I need to get my thing out. Just enough in there to write. We'll put that there because I need to have it. Alrighty, let's do that. Let's see if I can dip that in there to get enough. I need just a little bit, please. Just. And the month is July. I think this is such a gorgeous, gorgeous blue color. Oh, look, it's another Robert Oster. This one is a Robert Oster too. Okay, what did I have for this one? For this next combo, I wrote, thoroughly enjoyed the pairing, loved the ink, has gorgeous red sheen, a solid blue color, nib writes like a sailor medium fine, might be a temporary permanent ink in the pen. Yeah, I think some of that, it just might be. It works so well, this ink works so well in this pen. I might just have to make it a permanent thing until I don't. That's that pairing. You all need to move over because I need more space. You're all taking up way too much space. We don't need you to be all up in the Kool-Aid. The rating for this one, I thoroughly loved the pairing. The rating for this one, I'm going to give it an 8.5. It has great red sheen. It didn't show up all the time in the writing, as you can see. It didn't show up necessarily here, but there's not enough in there. I'm just dipping, so it's not necessarily going to show up, but still, really very good pairing that thoroughly enjoyed. Absolutely enjoyed. Alrighty, next one up is the LAMY, my LAMY Safari with Pink Cliff. This is also a recent purchase earlier this year. This has a medium nib, and I didn't choose. It was paired with, I hope I have enough there, CARAN Dash Electric Orange. It was okay. It was just okay. Ooh. I don't like it when a pairing is just okay. This ink is very bright, a tangerine-like orange, and I generally don't choose orange inks. And if I choose oh, are you coming in? If I choose an orange ink, it is because it is a darker, like a reddish orange ink. So this bright one was a bit, not off-putting. I wish you could write with this pen. If you have one of these pens, you know what I'm talking about, because, this one is a medium nib. Oh my goodness. I forget what a joy it is to write with a LAMY pen. This is CARAN Dash Electric Orange. And what do I have to say about this one? For this one I wrote, great writing with the LAMY pen again. Wanted to like the ink, but just meh as a pairing. Ink was just not wet enough. Not a fan of the color, almost too bright. Okay. Yeah. It's writing, which is interesting here. In my journal, which is the Sterling Ink B6, in my journal has what is it, Tomoe River paper. These sheets, I print them on Iroful paper, which is pretty good. It writes better on Iroful than it writes much better on Iroful. That is a note. That's something I need to take note of. Let me do that really quickly. I just noted that the ink writes better on the Iroful paper. Alrighty, that's it for that one. The score, whilst that dries, the score for this, although I love the LAMY pen, I absolutely love writing, the ink kind of brought the score down. The score is more about the ink than the pen, and this is a 6.5. Wasn't it? It was enjoyable enough. I wish it wrote like this in my journaling, the few pages that I did. I wish it wrote like this, but it didn't. So I can only score from what the experience that I had, not this experience here. Alrighty. Next pen up is the Monteverde Giant Sequoia. Now, if you are up to date with all my videos, where you will notice I just did an unboxing of this gorgeous, dang, sweet pen. Oh my goodness gracious, so good. I thoroughly enjoyed this pen. Okay, this is a new sheet because I've never written with this pen before, because it's a new thing. This, as I said, this is the Monteverde Trees of the World collection, Giant Sequoia, and the ink that I used in this one was gifted to me. This is, I'm gonna have to move the thing, DIAMINE All the Best. Can I just say, oh my flippin' word. Oh, oh wait a minute, I realize I don't have to ink this up, because this is the first of the 3 pens that is still inked up with the DIAMINE ink. So let's just go ahead and write, because it is there. Alrighty, this is July. I must say, I am a medium nib girl. I swear, every time I write with a medium nib these days, I was going through a period where I was buying fine nibs and extra fine nibs, really just to find out how they write. I'm okay with writing with them, but if I had my druthers, give me a medium nib. And I'm going to, what I didn't do, that I'm going to have to do, make sure, I'm going to shake this up just a tad as well. It's off screen, so I can get some of that beautifulness to show up, although it is already showing up there. Look at that color. Oh my gosh. When I think of red, this is the red I want. I know it's not like a true like cherry red, but I mean, look at that. Oh, jeez Louise. What can I say about this pen and ink combo? For these notes I wrote, pen is a fantastic writer. Smoothest of smooth nibs. My hand didn't actually get tired. Gorgeous ink. But the properties did not always show up. Disappointed in that, but a great pairing. I mean, despite that I'm not getting the properties showing up, and the properties in this one, I should actually tell you, it is a green sheen with a purple shimmer. Now I'm going to see, let me look first to see if I can see anything happening. You can see some of it happening here, but not exactly all the time. I love the color. The color is just the most deepest, most beautiful color. But I do wish the properties showed up a little more than it did rather, or I should say it does, because it didn't show up on that sheet either. So for this one gets an 8.5. I will continue to use this ink. Might put it in this pen again. I might just refill this for August. Who knows? We don't know yet. We don't know what we're doing. But yeah, that's that one. Where is I wanted to show you the ink. Which day was this? This was day 11. I really wanted to show you the sheen. Look at that. What magic sorcery is that? That's what I wanted to show up. And you can see some of it showed up there. I don't know if I can see. Yeah, there we go. Some of it showed up there. But it didn't necessarily show up in the writing. I am kind of sort of disappointed by that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I'm just totally in love with this ink. Just totally in love with it. Okay, let's get to the next pen. Next pen is, this is the second JINHAO 100 pen that I got for my October, last year October I did a JINHAO experiment with currently inked. I have 11 of these pens, 11 JINHAOs, because yeah. Anyway, this is the Snow White version, and it was inked with one of my favorite inks that I really don't want to have to pay for the whole thing. I'll tell you about that later. I'm not going to get into that. This one is Kobe. What is it? Kobe number 19 Minatogawa. You see how Minatogawa line? You see how I'm just like saying that word now? Because during 30 inks, I could not for the life of me say the dang word. Minatogawa. Anyway, let's get that sheet. What do I have there? Oh, I have a Robert Oster brandy in it before. Oh, and it said globby. Oh, they didn't like the pairing, but that was the other nib. I changed the nibs. This nib now has a medium nib in it. I actually bought a couple of nibs to go with, to change the nibs in this one and this one, because they're both JINHAO 100s, and they react so much better. Thank you very much. I appreciate you working with me. Nib and pen. Alrighty, what are we up to? We are up to, this ink is just, oh, there's so much about this ink that I'm fast becoming, used to be a blue, now I'm fast becoming mainly a green ink person. Alrighty, what are we doing? We're doing this. Minatogawa lime. Alrighty, what did I think about? Think. Here are the notes for this pairing. With this new nib, pen wrote wonderfully. No issues with flow. Ink suited this pen and this nib. Enjoyable, thoroughly enjoyable writing experience. Okay, that's it. No, I'm so glad I changed the nib in this pen. I was going to put this on a never use again pile, because I couldn't give it away because the nib was janky. But I'm so glad, and it was months and months later, almost 6 months later, that I saw that I can buy new nibs. That saved this pen. Oh my gosh, absolutely love this pen. These two are a brilliant, beautiful combination. Yeah, alrighty. Next one up is, who is up? Gotta get my sheets all together. The next one up, oh, before I do that, I gotta write the score. This was such a good combination. I'm going to give it, this was a brilliant combination. I'm just going to give it a 9. I'm just going to go there and do that because loved the two of them together. Next pen up is, this was my day 12, I believe. Remember I told you I have a lot of JINHAOs? Here's another one. This is the JINHAO 9019 with an extra fine nib. And for some reason, for 30 inks, I did not realize that it was an extra fine nib. But because when I have an extra fine nib, I tend not to put an ink with properties in an extra fine nib. But 30 inks was a random choice, so it is what it is. It is inked up with DIAMINE Nightfall. And this is a DIAMINE ink vent calendar ink for 2023. So, oh wait a minute, I just realized this is one of the pens that still has ink in it. I'm hoping I have enough, because I've been using this for a while. I'm hoping I have enough to finish writing. We'll see in a minute, we'll see. So this is the second pen that is still inked. Look at all that ink. Look at all that ink still on it. Come on. Okay, don't focus. That's your business. Alrighty, you can tell this is one of the earlier sheets that I wrote, because anyway, this is July. And see, I don't know if you guys can hear, probably not with me talking constantly, but this nib, because it's an extra fine, is a little bit of feedback on it. But I ain't mad at that one, because I love this pen. And this ink is DIAMINE Nightfall. What do I remember about this? For this pen and ink pairing I wrote, excellent pairing. Even with the extra fine nib, this ink got to shine, but barely showed the ink's properties. Extra fine nib issue, to be sure. Okay, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just because it's the extra fine nib. It does not necessarily show up all the time. Let's see if we got some little bits. I don't know if you can see it in the date. We have some sheen in the date. The sheen, let me see if I can find day 12. I wonder if day 12 shows up. So you can see it there. Let me show you day 12. Look at that puppy. What the flip? All of that, it showed up here. So yeah, it didn't necessarily show up in this extra fine nib. I still like, when I first saw this, and it's actually a dark blue color. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, it's a black ink. Oh, I'm not a fan of black ink. But it writes beautifully in this pen. The properties just don't always show up in this pen. So there is that. I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. I love the combination. What am I going to give this pairing? Because the properties didn't show up as well, I'm going to give this an 8.5. Because I need all the things to happen if you're going to get a high score number. I just think all the things should happen. Alrighty, next pen. Next pen is, oh, I have this thing for Monteverde pens, by the way. I've just realized that. I'm on pen number 4. This is the Monteverde Super Mega Carbon Fiber pen. Look at that. Just, oh, yoy, yoy. Look at that freaking goodness. It has an Omniflex nib, and it is inked up with DIAMINE Brilliant Violet. Come on, last word, come on. Copper, there we go. Brilliant Violet Copper. And this has, obviously violet copper. It has a copper sheen on it. I've always loved this ink. This is one of the first, when I first started buying samples, this was one of the first ones I bought. So I'm loving. And I have to make sure this is shook up enough. Who did I have here before? Ball Humbug and Robert Oster. Robert Oster was not a good pen, good ink for this pen, but Ball Humbug was good. Alrighty, let's try and get some of that beautifulness in there. Just don't need my hands to be all inked up. hoping some of this shows up here. Come on, show up the show up the copper, show up the copper, show up the copper. Oh, and this is a long name. Oops. Okay, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? For this pairing I wrote, this was a good match. You can see the shimmer in the writing sometimes. Good pairing, although with not consistent use, ink tended to get stuck. And by stuck, what I mean is the ink, it takes a while. You know how sometimes you shake a pen and usually the flow? If I didn't use this pen, at all, and I only inked it up for a day, but obviously it carried over. If I didn't use this pen, it just didn't flow right. It just did not want to flow when it was open the pen, take off the converter, see if I needed to do something, shake up the pen. It was a good pairing. Oh, you can see that. You can see that coppery goodness sitting in there. There you go. Look at that, baby. Anyway, I love this ink, love this pen. It actually was a good pairing. It was not necessarily the best pairing. It wasn't the best combination. So we're gonna give that an 8. I'm okay with that. We got a lot of 8s going on here. Got a lot of 8s. That's what happens when you have a random combination. Asking the universe, please put these two together and make them good. And the universe is like, girl, please. We can't do that all the time. Anyway, here we go. Here we go. Next pen is, oh my God, this pen. Off camera, I just actually kissed the pen. I'll have you know. I'm a little crazy like that. Anyway, this is the Radius 1934 Settimo Cielo Blue with a medium nib. And it is inked up with, what is this? Oh yeah, Robert Oster African Gold. African Gold. This is one of the inks. Does this have a sheen or anything in it? I don't think it does. This is actually one of the inks that I am gravitating towards. What I figured out in 30 inks is that I much prefer gold ink to yellow ink to write with, because yellow, I need to read my writing when I write. There's just a little quirk about me. And when I inked up a pen with yellow ink for the whole time I've been using yellow inks, I have never been satisfied. And I saw someone do a video and it was just like, bing! I just have to write with gold ink. I don't have to write with yellow ink. And that's why this pen lasted so long. For it was a day 6 pen, is because I didn't write with it very often, even after putting it with July Currently ink. I just didn't write with it often, and that's why the pen lasted so long. Alrighty, let's open this up. Don't put it back, we need to open it up. And let's get to this sheet. Who did we have before? Oh, this was the mess up with the blues edition in May. Ugh, God. Oh my goodness. That was a whole thing. That was a whole thing, y'all. Trying not to get this. This pen has an issue of staining sometimes. The white part. And you can see it stained just there. I have to wash it again. Anyway, that's the only drawback for this particular pen, the white. It feels like it stains really easily. Oh, look at that. It's so good. And this is, what is this again? I've forgotten. You could just read it right there, Grace. I mean, come on. Isn't that much better than a yellow? You could actually see the dang thing. Okay, what did I think about this? Let me ink you up one more time. Is that enough? One more time before I start writing. What can I say? Here are the notes I wrote for this one. I was somewhat pleased by this pairing. The writing was legible, and the nib allowed gorgeous, gorgeous shading. Ink flow was fairly consistent. In my journal, though, the ink was splotchy and had to rewrite over some strokes. Okay, that was one of the issues that I had with the pen, that with the ink rather. The shading was beautiful, but it shaded so well. Now, something I'm not sure about, I need to learn more about. The minute the pen wrote the stroke, all the ink flowed to the bottom. So I'd have to go over, rewrite that stroke, whatever the letter I was creating, so that basically the letter would show up. But as you can see, there is all sorts of good shading in this ink. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Will I want a bottle of this ink? We will see at the end of this. Alrighty, what did I give this? I think it was a good pairing. Yeah, I think it was a good pairing. Let me do 7.5. It wasn't up to the 8, but it still was above a middle of the road mark, or rating, I should say. All right, next up is, this is the, what is this? TWSBI Indigo. Why don't I just read what's there? TWSBI Indigo Blue with Bronze pen. This is the pen that I had Kirkspear do a cursive smooth italic nib on it. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So good. The problem with this one is, same with the last one. The problem with this one is there is none left, none. So what I wanted to do was make sure I chose an ink the same color as what was in here, so I can kind of like gauge. When I look at it, I know it was a pink. The only color in my collection is, what is this? The only color in my collection is this one. This is DIAMINE Sweet Dreams. It is the scented ink from DIAMINE, and I'm hoping my passages, my nasal patches are not going to be affronted by that scent, because it is heavy. Sweet Dreams, it's a sweet smell already. Let's get this writing. I'm gonna put this, we'll put this over there so it's not under my nose. Oh, I can smell it. It's not a bad smell, it's just sickly sweet smell. And the reason I'm doing this, I'll let you know on this one. The reason I'm doing this with this color is because I'm not sure I want to actually purchase this color. I didn't even tell you what the color is, did I? My apologies. The color is, this is Octopus Right and Drawer Pink Gazelle. So, oh my goodness, look at my hands, y'all. Jeez Louise. Who is that from? That's from the Blue Sea, isn't it? That's the only blue I have. Anyway, moving on. Let's go. Octopus. Can I just say, it is just the most beautiful thing to write with this ink, with this pen, which has that cursive smooth Italian. Oh my God. Alrighty, what am I writing about this? Notes I wrote were, I love the pen with this new grind on it, but the ink oozes a bit too much. I think the ink needs a finer nib, and the nib needs a drier ink. Pen gorgeous, despite those issues. Yeah, I think I'm gonna really have to clean that. That went in. I really love writing with this pen. I have to write with this pen a lot more often because Oh my goodness. It actually writes, because originally the nib was a broad, so it actually almost write like it's a stub, but I think that just could be the ink. I really think the nib needs a fairly dry, less wet. Oh my god, let me put that over there because, oh my goodness. Oh, that is a lot. You can see I've used this pen quite a bit with inks so far. And we are going to go with, what do I say this is? Because of those, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly the best. I'll give that a 7. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Next one up is, which was a surprise for me because I've not, oh my goodness, I don't even know if I'll have enough to write with. I'm not necessarily a fan anymore of Ferris Wheel Press inks, and the pick was Ferris Wheel Press Hearty Harvest. Hearty Harvest. And you can see how much ink I have left. The Concord, because, I don't know if you can see, it points downward. Look at that nib. That's the iris. That's the iris nib. Where's the sheet? TWSBI Diamond 580. Oh, I carried over. Okay. Let's see if I can get some ink. I hope I get some ink. Did you pick up? I think you picked up enough. Let's just write this. I'm going to use the reverse side to color in because it writes. That's how much it gives in. This is, let's do this. Depending upon the angle that you hold the nib, the thicker the line is. It's hard to do cursive with it though. Wow. Alright, I won't be doing that. I'll hold it right side up this time. Here's what I wrote for this pairing. I love the ink color Hardy Harvest. It's just not the best pairing with this Concord nib. Reverse writing tended to be gloppy at times. Nib needs ink with no to little properties. It's an okay pairing. Yeah, it was just okay. I wasn't, I'm loving the nib. I like the ink. I love the color of the ink. The ink itself as an ink to use. It's an okay pairing. Stay in place, man. It was just okay. It was just okay, and yeah, I think this is just a 7. I would actually love to see this ink used in a different pen. I don't know that that will happen, but I'll tell you about that later again. And the last pen pairing for July, part of the Leftovers edition, is my Leonardo MZG 2.0 Primary Manipulation 1 with a medium nib. Now, story behind this is, this was not the original pairing. The ink that's in here now, this is the last of the pen. This is the last pen that still has ink in it. And the ink in it is KAWECO, oops, bit too close. KAWECO Ruby Red. So, I'm gonna tell you a little story. The ink that was originally in this was Ferris Wheel Press Platted Gold Tress, and that's a yellow color. And I'm gonna show it to you. Which was this? Day 10, I think it was day 10. Yeah. Aside from the fact that that happened here, don't look at that. it was kind of yucky I did not enjoy that ink at all. And the Ruby Red, this KAWECO Ruby Red, was actually in my, what is it, Pilot Vanishing Point Decimo pen. And I just got issues the whole time. It dripped, it was awful. So I made an executive decision for July currently inked, that I would pair this pen, not with its original ink, but with this ink and not with its original pen. So these two are together. And this is still inked up with Ruby Red. You know what? Y'all, if you don't discover Ruby Red is like an outlier. I'd actually, when I got the bottle of ink, I actually didn't know KAWECO made ink. Did not know. And it was a chance encounter. I don't even know where I bought the ink, but it is just so freaking gorgeous. Okay, let's fill out the sheet. And this is an ink that has not necessarily any properties in it, so the ink just shines. I mean, it's so beautiful. All right, what do I have to say about this? Here's what I gotta say. Fantastic ink in a brilliant pen. Great pairing. Leonardo absolutely loved this KAWECO ink. Writing experience was top-notch each time. Yeah. That's what I think of this. And I'll let you know, I really wanted to write with this pen a lot. It's a lot to see red in a notebook all the time though, so I tempered that indulging that I wanted to do, but the pairing of these two was perfect. Perfect. Such a great, I loved it. Between this and what else is there? The DIAMINE All the Best. Where is that? I want to see that color. That is here. For some reason, I am into reds right now. I love the deep, rich color of it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so we will rate this one. I loved it, absolutely loved it. I'm gonna go with a 10. I really think this was an excellent writer. So I began the list with a 10 and I ended the list with a 10. I think that's kind of cool, actually. Now, before I give the final thoughts on all this stuff, the one thing that I do before I end the video is which of these inks would I get in a bottle. Now, I already have KAWECO in a bottle. Not an issue. I already have Nightfall in a bottle. And the reason KAWECO is in this vial is because I traveled with it and I needed to take some with me. So I have this one in a bottle. I have this one in a bottle. Cashmere Rose. I have this, so don't need those. Which of them were ones that I want to actually purchase? Definitely Ku-Jaku, and I wish I'd gotten this bottle in before I started recording this video, but I didn't. But I love this ink, and I looked to see what size the bottle comes in. The reason I did that is because I'm instituting kind of like the law of the land in Grace's pen and ink collection. There you go, that's what it is. I looked to see what inks are, what size the bottle comes in, because as for now, I'm really only going to buy inks that are in 15 mils or less. And the only exception to that is if I buy new inks of Birmingham pen, which only comes in these 60 ml bottles. So yeah, that's why I'm swapping Birmingham pen ink, pen company inks, because others have got to use it. But that is what I'm doing. I'm only getting inks that are 15 mils or less. And guess what? Ku-Jaku comes in that little mini bottle. Oh, I'm going to get it because the other one that I would like to, let me give it a check mark to here. The other one that I would love to have a bottle of is DIAMINE All the Best, but that's this one here. But unfortunately, DIAMINE owned this one, part of the 21, if I'm not mistaken, Inkvent calendar. It now only comes in a really large bottle, and I'm toying with whether I want to purchase that. And the other one that I would love to have in a bottle is this Kobe number 19 Minatogawa Lime. I would love to have this in a bottle, but this ink comes in a 50 ml bottle and it's $30-ish, $30-ish a pop. I sad because I really want to get that one. I might splurge and get it, but we'll see. The last one I would love to have a bottle of is the Robert Oster Blue Sea. But the thing about the Robert Oster Blue Sea is, even though I love writing with this ink, I already have way too many blue inks in my stash. I will have to look at that at another time to see if I really want to go and buy a bottle of this. I didn't even check to see if this bottle came, what size this bottle came in. That's okay. Okay, final thoughts. I had no pens that I really didn't enjoy for the most part. I really didn't. I enjoyed writing with all of them, even though I had 12 pens this cycle. 12 pens is a lot for me to choose from. I tend to get bogged down in trying to choose and not just picking one up. I need to change that, I know. But I'm very pleased with this ink report. I'm excited. I'm actually excited at all these ratings. The lowest rating was a 6.5. I'm okay with that because that was really about this ink, this orange ink, and less about the LAMY Safari pen that was in it. So yeah, that's it. Which ink or pen or pairing has got you thinking that you might need to consider getting either the pen or the ink? Which of these, as you've seen them, has you considering? I mean, look at all this goodness. Look at all this goodness. This is amazing to me because as long as I think I created these sheets when I first got this Leonardo, and so I've inked up this pen a lot, and I have 5 different inks. I think that's pretty cool. I love seeing this. This is why I created the darn sheets, because I love seeing all the inks in this one pen and how they write. Oh my goodness. And so far, all of those inks in that pen were gorgeous. Lovely, lovely, lovely. One last thing, I put out a community post saying that quite a few of the videos, the upcoming videos, will be me swatching inks. I know I said I wasn't going to buy inks, but I've since rescinded that rule. It's no longer part of this environment here. Mainly because I got inks in swaps and I got inks. Anyway, that's not it. The community post said, if you haven't read it yet, is upcoming inks will be me swatching inks. Swatching. Oh my gosh. Including, by the way, including Birmingham Pen Co. experimentation with mixing colors. That's coming up. I have a couple more little experiments I want to do with it. And there's another Inky E coming up. Ooh, Ooh, I'm excited about this one. This one's gonna shine. That's all I'm gonna say. That Inky E is gonna be a shiner. Yeah, let's leave it at that. Alrighty, that's it. Currently inked for July. I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving this lineup. I'm sad to see that they're all empty. Really, because these are pretty good. Anyway, that's it.